plans. I did hear a couple of the guys from the Hog Chapter, not this year, but next year, they're planning their trip, and they're driving it. You know, I got this one guy, man, I just, you know, kudos to him, man. He's a, you know, he does it by himself. He's a single driver, and I think he's been driving the Sturgis now from Maryland. I don't know how many years, and he just drives it by himself, and he just cuts the miles down. And I think he's got a brother that lives maybe an hour and a half south of Sturgis, and he stays there and just has a good time staying with his brother. And I guess some of the Sturgis activities and going there, and that's quite a trip. I mean, that's, you know, that's quite a trip to do by yourself, because most of the time on YouTube, when I see somebody taking a long trip like that, normally I've seen somebody else ride with them. It's you know, it's at least two people making a trip together, and I can see a lot of reasons to do that, in case you have breakdowns or you're running into trouble. You got somebody else there to help you, or to talk with, to try to work out any problems that can arise. So so like I said, this guy does it by himself constantly, year after year, and that's pretty cool. You know, like I said, he's a quiet one in the Hog Chapter, but man, he rides his bike. Yeah, you know, no doubt about it. So that's pretty good. And one other guy I found out is, you know, in the business world, there's a club I belong to, and this guy, he had no idea he rode a motorcycle. He has a Heritage Softail, and he rides that predominantly on long trips. He's a long trip guy. You know, he's 70 years old, but he looks maybe 58 to 60 in shape, and he's got his bike set up, he said, for long riding. He said it went through 5 different changes on his handlebars and seats, because he's a little short like I am, and to get the bike to where he's sitting totally upright and his arms is in a natural position, which I think is very important for long rides. So as I get to know him more, you know, I just like learning from you guys. You know, whether I'm 53, which I am, you know, it could be somebody 25. If they've been riding 5 or 6 years, 10 years, they got the experience. I don't mind learning from anybody, and I don't really care about age. Age means nothing to me. I just enjoy learning, and if they've got knowledge, I like to listen twice as much as I talk. And because the old saying, I know what I know, but I don't know what you know. So I'm always looking to better myself, whether it's riding a motorcycle, riding a jet ski, towing vehicles, you know, with a trailer, with my truck camper. You know, I never did that until I did it. So, you know, I'm always ears wide open when it comes to those things. Also in the business world, you know, I believe never stop growing. Again, I might have mentioned it, you know, as an old man, I went back and got my bachelor's degree. And that's quite hard to do, when you come from a family that, you know, half of us got a high school diploma, the other half didn't. And so there was a lot of pressure that success was getting a high school diploma. Nothing's wrong with that, you know, and a lot of my sisters went back and got their GED. So, and that's cool. And I I only speak for myself, and I just always had that desire to get the degree. It wasn't to get another job. It wasn't. It was just for the success internally that I could do it, and I did do it. And so that's, you know, when I talked to my daughter, and she was going to college. That was the only one of my children who went to college, and I'm okay with that. The other, you know, I got 3 boys and 1 girl. The other 2 boys I basically said, military is the way I'd go if you're not going to college. That way you always have that connection, a brotherhood. And they did, and that was the best decision they ever did. They went and served our country, and they came back. Like I probably mentioned it, I'm just proud of them that, they got to work at the power company. My youngest son got on the power company, and they're doing great. My daughter's doing great. So it's just a blessing to me. One of my big goals in life was to see my kids successful. So when I leave this world, I don't have to worry about my kids. They're survivors. They've got a craft that if they need to tomorrow, they can find another job. So, very thankful on that. But rambling on, but getting back to the motorcycle. Along with the 15,000 mile service I'm getting done today, about 1 o'clock. I should get there about 12:15. I want to talk about my handlebars on my seat, because right now I feel like for me to have a little bit of bend in my arms, that I'm having to lean forward just a tad. Instead of, if I was able to lean back, I've got to totally straighten out my arms. So I think I'm that little bit, maybe an inch and a half off, that I'm gonna get their recommendations. Some people said a reach seat will get you about an inch and a half closer, about an inch lower. And I don't, I could use an inch lower, that wouldn't be a problem, but that's not my goal. My goal is just getting my hands a little closer to my body. Probably about an inch and a half is probably what I need. And some people said, maybe you can adjust your handlebars and roll them back a little bit, and that might be enough. I'm going to ask that. The end result, new handlebars, new cables, it's about an $1,800 project if we go that route. So y'all might have some comments on that. Like I said, I'm 5'8", stretching myself a little bit, 5'8", and I got fairly short arms. I wear a 33-inch sleeve length. So 34 and 35-inch shirt, which most shirts are that, in my neck size, which is about an 18 and a half, they're just too long. So that's another thing that I wanted to wondered why I probably got to make an adjustment, because I do want to set my bike up for longer rides, because I do have some buddies that go to Daytona, some colleagues at work, and I know Bodine 52, and he had a friend go down there this year. He might even see this video, and it'd be nice just to catch up with some of the guys at Vlogging World. So I do see myself going there next year. So yeah, I kind of can't wait to next. This year it's going to be a lot of driving, which is going to be perfect. And then that'll set up my next year as far as my agenda, and we'll take it from there. But again, such a beautiful day to ride a bike out here. I mean, you just can't beat it. I've got, as far as my riding apparel in the 50, 51, it's probably 51, 52 now. I've got just regular boots, one pair of socks. I've got jeans, a pair of thermal underwear, light thermal underwear. I didn't just the real cheap Walmart white ones. And I got a pair of my leather chaps with no insulation in them. And I can tell you that my legs and feet are perfect. They're not cold at all. So, I might would put my insulation in my chaps if I was starting off and it was below 50. Maybe in the mid 40s or lower. That might be when I put the chaps in. I mean, the insulation in the chaps. But I think as soon as it gets to 55 or higher, I don't even think I need the chaps at that point. So, as far as to say cold, there may be other reasons to wear them, but from a cold perspective, I think, you know, 55 and up probably don't need it. Then on my upper body, I've got this, you know, this leather jacket I bought. I bought this from a guy who'd gotten out of bike riding, got about a half off instead of buying it from Harley. And I zipped the insulation out of it because I mean, it's a heavy jacket. Even without the insulation, it's heavy. And I do have the, I think the shoulder and the elbow pads in it. So, and I have that without the insulation zipped in it. And I have just a regular t-shirt on underneath of it. I don't even have my hoodie or a sweatshirt on. And my upper body is fine, not cold at all. You know, I can feel a little cold air maybe on my neck, the front of my neck a little bit, but I guess the windshield throws most of the wind above me. So, and I've been riding now for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and perfect. You know, from a temperature, you know, I didn't even wear my thick, I guess they call them gauntlet gloves. You know, my favorite are these thin leather gauntlet gloves. And my fingers, my hands are fine. I do not have heated grips yet, but I wouldn't put it past me to get heated grips one day. So, and I'm a fairly hot-natured person anyway, so this is just me needing that. So that's all from that as far as, and I've got my bell bullet helmet on full face. And I just kind of use, you know, a rule of thumb using that, you know, that I'm thinking, you know, 55 degrees is my number. If it's above 55 or above, I'll probably wear my half helmet with, I guess like a handkerchief pulled up, or neck gaiter, maybe they call them. So I would probably use that 55 and up as far as temperature. So, but you know, I do think that's my perfect combination. This bell bullet, for one on full face, and that cavalry Cena half helmet. I think it's going to be perfect when I only want to use a half helmet. So, and I imagine that my trip to Sturgis, you know, I vlog with my full helmet. So I'm not sure how I would do that with my half helmet. You know, I just have to kind of figure it out. I do want to vlog in a trip because, you know, I want to put it on so I have it, you know, for years to come, and, you know, to watch, you know, kind of the adventure on the way. And anybody else who's thinking about taking a trip and they want to learn from somebody that's never gone. That's another thing. A lot of times when I look at these videos, they're about pretty experienced people. You know, they kind of already have it down, which is good. You know, that's some of the best way to learn. But it's also good to kind of watch people figure it out. They've never done it. And they kind of go along the way and kind of figure it out, and then they share it. And sometimes I would say new people can kind of respond to that, you know, because maybe they're making items they're not thinking about. So, you know, that's kind of the way I see that. But, and I always let everybody know it's just the way I'm doing it, you know. And if I learn a better way and a safer way, I always want to be safe. A better way of doing things, I am wide open to learn and change. Change is fine with me. If it's got a good purpose and it's a sound reason behind it, I'm good for it. I'm good with it. Alright, now I'll probably, I think I said enough. I might just, so the video will just probably end a little bit. I might put a little more footage just to kind of see the trip, or I may just end it pretty much now. But just so you know, this is pretty much the end of my talking, and I'm sure the end of the video this time. Alright, I will see you later. Bye.